Challenge is a part of our very nature. From humanity's beginnings, factors like starvation, overpopulation, and combat have driven the development of civilization. The need for food and protection from animals caused us to band into groups. The need for protection from each other caused the development of civilizations. The ability of struggle to drive development carries over to modern civilization as well. Olympic athletes with asthma are twice as likely to win gold medals than their non-asthmatic counterparts. Apple and Microsoft, two of the biggest companies in the world, began in garages. One group of people in particular often face adversity: immigrants. From the early settlers in the Tigris and Euphrates River valleys to modern people moving around the world, immigrants have always had to overcome hardships from their old homes as well as in their new homes. The challenges they and we face teach us valuable lessons and develop our characters, making us stronger, better human beings. Philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche believed in the value of the challenges we face. He believed that adversity is the only thing that can prove today whether someone is worth anything or not, and that which does not kill us makes us stronger.
My name is 경제 Park. 제 이름은 박경재입니다.
Dr. Park was born in a very poor village in Kimcheon, Korea. He lived in a very close-knit community and a very small home. Seeking a better education and more opportunities, he immigrated to the United States. There he faced many challenges, namely language barriers.
내가 중학교부터 영어를 공부를 했거든. 근데 나를 가르친 그 영어 선생님이 수업 시간에 영어 단어를 몰라가지고 영어 사전을 찾아가면서 우리한테 가르친 거야. 그 영어 선생님은 영어 발음도 아주 스트롱한 한국식 영어. 내가 미국 와서 말을 하니까 아무도 내 말을 못 알아듣더라고. 그리고 수업을 들어갔는데 그 선생님들 수업을 못 알아듣겠어. 그래가지고 생각해낸 게 수업을 테이프 레코딩 하기로 했어. 그 렉처를 알아들을 때까지 반복해가지고 수업을 따라간 거야. 그러니까 다른 사람이 1시간에 알아듣는 것을 나는 3시간, 4시간씩 하면서 처음에는 공부를 하게 되었지. 그러니까 무지 힘들었지.
It is clear that language made Dr. Park's education very difficult, but Dr. Park also faced adversity in everyday life because of this language barrier.
예를 들어서 식당 이야기를 하면은 그래. 묻는 것도 다 못 알아듣겠어. 그리고 내가 이야기하는 걸 못 알아듣는 거야. 다시 설명한다고 설명해도 또 못 알아들어. 그러면 그 사람은 또 물어봐. 그러면은 그것이 계속 반복되는 거야. 그 나중에는 결국 말하기 오케이. 모든 것이 다 오케이. 그러면은 그냥 나와. 내가 원하든 원하지 않든 어쨌든 음식은 나와. 처음에는 그렇게 시작을 한 거야.
What Dr. Park does not mention is his time in the Dominican Republic. After finishing his first 4 years of college, he moved to the Dominican Republic, a Spanish-speaking country, to attend medical school. It was his only choice because he lacked money. There, he had to learn Spanish and face even more language-related challenges. But on top of this, due to his greater distance from friends and home, he faced isolation and loneliness.
다른 사람이 하나도 없는 거야. 서울에 있을 때는 친한 친구가 있어가지고 도서관도 같이 다니고 수업도 같이 하고 같이 커피도 마시고 같이 이렇게 이야기 나누던 친구가 있었는데 미국에 오니까 아는 사람 한 명도 없어. 그러니까 아주 쓸쓸해. 막내는 엄마하고 아주 가까워. 그 엄마 사랑을 독차지하지. 한국에 있을 때는 항상 엄마하고 연락하고 가깝게 지내다가 미국에 오니까 연락이 잘 안 되는 거야. 그리고 엄마도 볼 수 없고, 그러니까 무지 힘들지.
Dr. Park faced a wide variety of challenges. From language barriers to missing family, immigration never failed to test his persistence. But after all these difficulties, even though his disadvantages made success more difficult, Dr. Park expresses the benefits of facing adversity.
힘든 것을 지나가면서 배우고 단련되는 것은 그 다음에 어떤 힘든 것이 오더라도 해낼 수 있다는 그런 자신감이 생기는 거야. 그리고 하고 싶은 이야기는 실은 그런 모든 것이 결국은 너희들도 이제 앞으로 힘든 것들이 오겠지만은 네가 어떤 무엇을 바라보는 자세, 그 힘든 것을 힘든 거라고 생각하고 포기하면은 결국은 못 해내. 그렇지만은 네가 할 수 있겠다고 마음을 먹고 노력하다 보면은 포기하지 않고 끝까지 하다 보면은 결국은 해내는 거야. 그것이 네가 앞으로 인생을 살아가면서 큰 밑거름이 될 것이고 너를 네가 원하는 그 무엇으로 이끄는 그런 힘이 되는 거라. 그런 어려운 과정을 지나오니까 지금은 어떤 어려움도 이겨낼 수 있다는 그런 자신감, 어떤 것도 인내할 수 있다는 거, 그 과정이 나를 더 인내하게 만드는 사람으로 만들고 좀 더 강한 사람으로 만들고 좀 더 자신 있는 사람으로 나 스스로를 만들어가는 거야. 그게 너희들도 나처럼 어려운 과정을 지나가면은 결국은 너희들이 원하고 바라던 행복한 모든 것이 이루어질 거라고 나는 믿어.
All in all, Dr. Park's work ethic, strength, and composure improved due to the adversity he faced after immigrating. However, it seems like Dr. Park's newfound confidence to succeed in the face of challenge in the future is the most important benefit of his experience.
My name is Enio de Oliveira.
Before moving to the States, Mr. D. Oliveira lived in a poor area in Brazil. He was forced to attend low-quality public schools, and the only means of improving his situation was to take an entrance exam to an open college.
In Brazil, the education system is not as advanced, so especially higher education is very difficult to get in. It was very difficult for my parents to be able to afford me not to go to work at an early age and dedicate myself to studying.
Through hard work and determination, Mr. Oliveira passed the entrance exam. However, once college began, his situation seemed to get worse. Mr. Oliveira was forced to study at night and work in the day.
I was able to start working at 19 while I was still in college, but I could sustain myself somehow and help a little bit my parents, but making sure that I could finish my higher education. I would wake up at around 5:30 or 6 to go to work. I worked until 3 or 4, then I went to college. It was around 5 or 6 until 11 p.m.
In the end, his perseverance paid off. His higher level of education elevated his economic status and granted him opportunities in the United States. There, he faced more challenges.
And it was just me and my wife here, so it was difficult that transition. When I moved to the US, we struggle living family, especially families in Brazil are very close together. When I moved to the US, that's one of the major challenges. We didn't have a support structure here in the US. Basically, it was me and my wife, and once you have a family, you don't have anybody to help you out.
Like Dr. Park, Mr. D. Oliveira's challenges made life in the States much more difficult. However, he also believes these difficulties were an important factor in the development of his character.
I think it improved not only my character but my relationship, my personality. Is that proves that you can overcome obstacles, you can be successful even not knowing anybody. You know that you can strike on your own, that you are self-reliant, and although friends and family are important, you can achieve things on your own. So I think adversity builds characters because you do not give up. You become more persistent, and you know of your own capabilities. You can learn, adapt, and be successful no matter what environment you are. Adversity can be challenging, but life is challenging overall. As long as you are professional, hardworking, your background or you came from is not as important. If you're a good professional, hardworking person, and you deliver on your work, you are respected.
Mr. Oliveira's testimony clearly supports the idea that adversity makes us better, more capable human beings. However, the most revealing and interesting part of his interview was his statement about happiness.
A life without any adversities, you don't really have a true, fulfilling life. A life you have not only happiness and play and joyful things, it has to have adversities. So you have a full character.
Friedrich Nietzsche also touched on happiness in his writings. He believed that pleasure and displeasure are so tied together that whoever wanted to have as much as possible of one must also have as much as possible of the other.
My name is Ayan Chatterjee. I'm a partner with Deloitte Consulting, Deloitte & Touche, which is one of the largest professional services firms in the world.
Mr. Chatterjee came to the United States in 1998 from India. He decided to immigrate for better career opportunities, to help his family grow up in a better environment, and to give his children more opportunities than he had in India.
My father was the head of the Indian Forestry Service, and he had to move around a lot when I was a child. And most of the places that he had to be in, because he was in the Indian Forestry Service, were very small towns, often villages. And therefore I had to change schools a lot. Many a time there wasn't a good school in that village or that town that I was in. Things that we take for granted in the US was not something we could take for granted in India. And one example is that in a place called Daltonganj that I grew up in a 24-hour day, there may have been 4 hours of electricity that we got in the whole day. And so what did we do when we had to study? We often had to use candle lights to study in. We used lamps.
Before moving to the States, Mr. Chatterjee dealt with a plethora of problems at home. However, once he moved to the States, he was forced to adapt to a new environment and go through a multitude of financial issues.
I moved, in fact, we had just got married, Madhuja and I had just got married right before that. We did not have any children. We moved in 1998. We had $3,000 in our pocket, and that was also not our money. It was a loan that was given by the company that I had joined. That $3,000 went really fast. My salary was not very high at that point of time, so we were essentially barely making ends meet.
Like Dr. Park, the economic challenges Mr. Chatterjee faced were secondary to the hardship of leaving his family and friends behind in India.
The thing that troubled me most about really deciding to leave India and coming to the US was the fact that I was going to leave my entire family. And then in India, we are a very close-knit family usually. And then not just the parents and the immediate siblings, I was leaving behind my entire set of cousins, my friends, etc., and moving to the US where we really knew very few people.
After facing a multitude of hardships,
Mr. Chatterjee developed a new perspective on money and personal relationships. He realized he had to stay humble and in the moment.
As I was growing up, like I had said, the importance not taking things for granted is something that I always have at the back of my head. I'm never taking things for granted. I know that everything is a privilege. So because of that, I savor every day, I savor everything that happens. So a combination of all these, my hard work, my focus on my relationships, my ability to really manage and save and do well financially have all helped me succeed in life.
Mr. Chatterjee provided unique insights on the topic of facing hardships. The economic challenges Mr. Chatterjee went through shaped his viewpoint on money and the amount of work required to be in a stable place.
I am extremely happy I moved here. I think we've made a great life for ourselves here. I've been very successful professionally, I've been very successful personally, and most importantly, I'm happy because I'm giving my children an opportunity to succeed in a way that I never had. That makes me really happy.
It is clear that hardship has the potential of shaping our characters. Immigration is just one example of this phenomenon. Some immigrants face most of their challenges at home, before immigration. For example, Mr. D. Oliveira had to work tirelessly just to put himself in a position where he could immigrate. In other cases, immigrants like Dr. Park face most of their adversity in their new country. Sometimes, immigrants like Mr. Chatterjee meet a variety of challenges at home as well as in their new country. In the end, many of these hardships leads to a stronger and more driven work ethic. In other situations, the adversity leads to a new perspective on specific issues. Sometimes, adversity can even reveal the close relationship between struggle and happiness.
Ultimately, we can all learn from Dr. Park, Mr. De Oliveira, and Mr. Chatterjee's experiences with adversity and immigration. The most important lesson is that adversity should be seen as an opportunity to better oneself. Hardship is something we all face. That doesn't mean we can't see them through an optimistic viewpoint. Accomplished businessman Steve Toback said that people do not succeed in spite of the challenges they face, but succeed because of them. In order to succeed, these hardships have to be seen as an opportunity to better yourself and work harder than you have ever had before.